The moment Marcus Chen realized he'd hired the wrong music teacher. His daughter was already halfway through her first piano lesson, giggling in a way he hadn't heard since her mother passed away 2 years ago. Through the frosted glass of his home office door, he could hear Riley's laughter mixing with the gentle melody of Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star, played imperfectly, but with more joy than any of the 5 previous teachers had managed to coax from her. He stared at the email on his screen. "Mr. Chen, this is Amanda Foster from Berkshire Music Academy. I apologize for the confusion, but I won't be able to make today's appointment. I'm sending my assistant instead." His heart sank. He'd specifically requested Amanda, credentials from Juilliard, 15 years of experience, a waiting list 6 months long. He'd pulled strings, made calls, paid a premium rate, and now some assistant was in there with his daughter, probably fresh out of college with barely any experience. Marcus ran a tech empire worth $800 million, but he couldn't figure out how to help his 7-year-old daughter smile again. After Emma died, Riley had withdrawn into herself, speaking only when necessary, moving through their mansion like a small, ghost-haunting rooms that once echoed with her mother's warmth. The therapist suggested music, something creative, something gentle. Marcus had approached it like any business problem. Find the best, pay whatever it costs, execute the plan. Except now, the plan had gone sideways before it even started. He stood up, straightening his tie, preparing to politely dismiss whoever was in there and reschedule with Amanda herself. But when he opened the office door and walked toward the piano room, he stopped. Really stopped. The woman sitting beside Riley at the grand piano wasn't what he expected. She wore jeans with a small tear at the knee and a faded sweater. Her dark hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Her hands, he noticed her hands first, were positioned over the keys, guiding Riley's smaller fingers with infinite patience. No rings, no polish. Just gentle, steady hands that knew exactly what they were doing. "That's it, sweetie," the woman said softly. "Feel how the keys want to sing? You're not pushing them. You're asking them nicely to make music." Riley nodded, concentrated and pressed down. The note rang clear and sweet. His daughter's face lit up with something Marcus had almost forgotten existed. Pure, uncomplicated happiness. He must have made a sound because the woman turned, and he found himself looking into the warmest brown eyes he'd ever seen. She smiled, not the professional smile he was used to, the one people gave him when they wanted something, but a real smile that reached those eyes and made something in his chest tighten unexpectedly. "Mr. Chen," she said, standing quickly, "I'm so sorry for the confusion. I'm Jen Morrison. Amanda had a family emergency, and she asked if I could cover. I know you were expecting her, and I completely understand if you'd like to reschedule." "No!" Riley's voice cut through the room, loud and desperate. "No, Daddy, please. I like Miss Jen. Please let her stay." The panic in his daughter's voice made the decision for him. "It's fine," he heard himself say. "Let's continue." Over the following weeks, Jen came 3 times a week, always arriving in her old Honda Civic that made concerning noises when she parked, always carrying the same worn leather bag, always bringing that inexplicable light into their home. Riley transformed. She started talking at dinner, telling Marcus about what she'd learned, about the stories Miss Jen told her about composers, about the games they played to learn rhythm. She started smiling again. Really smiling? Marcus found himself leaving his office door open during lessons, listening to Jen's patient voice, to Riley's growing confidence. He noticed small things, how Jen never checked her phone during lessons, how she always brought little handwritten charts with stars and stickers, how she celebrated every small victory as if Riley had just won a Grammy. He also noticed the shadows under her eyes, how she sometimes winced when she stood up too quickly, how her car troubles seemed to be getting worse. It was Maria, their housekeeper, who told him the truth. "Mr. Chen, you should know. Miss Jen, she has a son. 6 years old. She brings him sometimes, and he waits in the car. Today it's cold, so I gave him hot chocolate in the kitchen." "I hope that's okay." Marcus felt something cold settle in his stomach. "She has a child waiting in the car during lessons?" "She's a good woman," Maria said quickly, defensively. "Single mother. Works 3 jobs, she told me. Teaches music, waits tables at night, cleans offices on weekends. The boy Lucas, he's sweet. Does his homework in the car, never complains. That evening, Marcus couldn't focus on anything. He kept thinking about Jen, about the patience she showed Riley, about the warmth she brought into their home, all while she was struggling herself, while her own child waited in a cold car. The realization hit him like a physical blow. She was giving his daughter everything she had, holding nothing back, even though she was barely holding on herself. The next lesson, he was ready. When Jen arrived, he met her at the door. "I need to speak with you before the lesson," he said, and watched the fear flash across her face. She thought she was being fired. "Please bring your son inside." Lucas was small for 6, with his mother's brown eyes and a quiet dignity that broke Marcus's heart. The boy shook his hand seriously, like a little adult. "Thank you for letting my mom teach piano, sir. She says your daughter is very talented." During the lesson, Marcus made his decision. When Jen finished, he asked her to stay. Riley was upstairs with Maria, and Lucas was eating cookies in the kitchen. So it was just the two of them. "Jen, I need to be honest with you. I know Amanda didn't send you because of an emergency. I called her. She said she never had an appointment with me." He watched the color drain from her face. "Mr. Chen, I can explain. You saw my ad looking for a music teacher. You showed up, pretended to be Amanda's assistant, and somehow convinced me to let you stay." She was trembling now, tears gathering in her eyes. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I needed the work so badly, and I thought if I could just get in the door, show you I was good enough." "You are good enough," Marcus said quietly. "You're more than good enough. You gave my daughter something I couldn't buy with all my money. You gave her joy again. You gave her music. You gave her someone who sees her, really sees her, not as the daughter of a CEO or a child who lost her mother, but just as Riley, as herself." Jen was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. "She's a wonderful little girl. She just needed someone to believe in her. Like Lucas needs someone to believe in his mother," Marcus said. He'd made calls that afternoon, done research, made plans. "I want to offer you a position, not just as Riley's music teacher, but as the director of a new music program I'm starting, a foundation, providing free music education to children who couldn't otherwise afford it. Full salary, benefits, health insurance. You'd run it, hire teachers, design the curriculum, use everything you know, everything you've learned from struggling to make this work." She stared at him, unable to speak. "The foundation will be called the Emma Chen Memorial Music Program," he continued, his voice rougher now. "Named after my wife. She believed music could heal. She was right. You proved it." "I don't understand," Jen whispered. "Why would you do this?" Marcus thought about the last 2 years, about grief and loneliness, about his daughter's silence and his own helplessness. He thought about this woman who had taken a desperate chance, who had given everything she had to a stranger's child while her own son waited patiently in a cold car. He thought about kindness as currency, about the economy of human compassion that couldn't be measured on any balance sheet. "Because you taught me something more important than you taught Riley," he said. "You reminded me what it means to give without expecting anything in return. To see someone's need and meet it, not because it benefits you, but because it's the right thing to do. You did that for my daughter. Let me do this for your son, for you, for all the other families out there struggling the way you've been struggling." 6 months later, the Emma Chen Memorial Music Program opened its doors in a renovated warehouse downtown, with Jen Morrison as its founding director. They served 300 children that first year, offering free music lessons, instruments, and something more precious, adults who believed in them, who showed up week after week with patience and warmth and dedication. Riley and Lucas became inseparable, siblings in everything but blood, their laughter filling the Chen home with a sound Marcus had thought he'd never hear again. And sometimes, late at night, when the house was quiet, Marcus would walk past the piano room and see Jen there, playing softly, and he'd remember that the best things in life come from the most unexpected places, from mistakes that turn into miracles, from wrong turns that lead you exactly where you need to be, from the simple act of one human being seeing another's need and deciding to help, expecting nothing in return. That, Marcus finally understood, was the real music, the kind that didn't come from any piano, but from the human heart's infinite capacity for compassion.